Hey everybody, thanks for joining. So we're probably going to give it another 2 or 3 minutes or so. Just give them some time to join. But Miguel was nice enough to join us at 6 his time. He's in Mountain Time.
Yeah, that's why it's sunny here.
Yeah, it's dark here already.
Okay, I don't see anyone's faces. Elisa, I know you're there.
Hi.
Hello. Vicky, are you? Yeah, you're gonna be admitting everyone. Okay, perfect.
Yep, I'm admitting people as they come in. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's so crazy here. Like it was raining like for 10 minutes, but it was sunny, and now it's sunny but not raining. But I can see the cloud raining somewhere else. Where there's just one cloud here, but okay.
I heard thunder outside and it was sunny, and I had no idea what was going on. And I live near an airport, so I was like, maybe they're like rushing the fighter jets. I don't know. Like there's a lot that I'm learning about planes living around here.
Okay, you tell me when to start then, Vicky.
All right. So we can probably go ahead and start, and then Alyssa, if you want to hit record. But all right, thanks for joining, everybody. My name is Vicky. I'm with ESWHQ, and this is Miguel Fraga. He's a couple different things. He's an ESW alum. He's also a founding member of our UTEP chapter, so big thanks to Miguel for that. He was also like hugely instrumental in getting our UTEP conference off the ground and running. So thanks to Miguel for all of that. And he's also recently joined our board. So thanks, Miguel. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you. But in the meantime, Miguel's been doing a lot of different things. He's currently working for Creosote Collaborative in a sustainability consultancy job. But on his way there, he also got his MBA, and he's done some other consulting roles. So he's going to go ahead and just go over his career path and all the different ways and different paths that he's taken to get to where he is now, and any tips and tricks that he has for you and based on what he's learned. So thanks again, Miguel.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Makes me feel like I've done more, but no, I mean, I'm just a simple mortal like everyone else. But thank you so much for this opportunity. Like I've been in love with this organization since we started. Like I was first introduced by our mentor at UTEP, that he was part of it. Like my research mentor, the PI, he was part of an ESW at Austin when he was in the starting years. I mean, he's a professor. He's not a super young guy, but I mean, he was there, and then he introduced me, and that's when we started. So ever since, I've loved ESW and all of that. But I'm happy to be here and talk about how to get a job in sustainability. But kind of repeating a little bit of what Vicky said, there's no one way, there's no recipe for like how to get a job in sustainability, right? It's not just because sustainability itself, it's so broad. That's the same thing for all of the jobs that's in sustainability. I mean, it's not I can tell you, go here, go to this website and do this. And it's very general. So I'm just trying to share my experience, how you can, everyone who's watching could learn from that experience as well and try to apply it. And I'm also going to share some of my regrets, but not really regrets, but something like what I would have done differently when I was in school or earlier in my career. I mean, I've only been full-time for a year now, but yeah, I'm very excited. So it's not changing. There you go. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, kind of the same thing that Vicky said. My name is Miguel Fraga. I have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering Leadership here at UTEP, the University of Texas at El Paso. If you don't know where El Paso is, it's right in the corner. It's right in the tip of Texas in the border with Mexico. And fun fact about El Paso, it's the only city in Texas that has Mountain Standard Time. So I'm in Mountain, not Central. Engineering leadership, it's a new degree that was offered at UTEP. I'm part of the inaugural class, so I was first to graduate for that degree. It's basically kind of like industrial engineering, but we take classes from all other engineering degrees. So I took classes from civil, metallurgical, electrical, mechanical, and then you choose one of the focus that you want to do. So I did two because I'm a very undecided person. So I did biomedical engineering minor, and I also focused my thesis and my work and most of my experience in environmental engineering. I worked under the Center for Inland Desalination Systems, where I did my thesis on solar desalination. So that was very fun. I loved it. And after that, I did my MBA, still there at UTEP. I currently work as a sustainability specialist at Creative Collaborative, which is an urban planning and sustainability consulting firm here in El Paso. So that was very exciting. I will talk to you a little bit more how I got that job, because there's not much jobs about sustainability here in El Paso. It's a fairly small city that focuses mainly on health and manufacture, so there was not a lot. I'm also the vice chair of the City of El Paso Regional Renewable Energy Advisory Council. So right now there's 8 appointees for each city council. I'm under District 8 from Sicily Sarraga. And what we do is that we literally just advise the council and the mayor on policies related to renewable energy. Right now we're working on making a policy to make all city buildings go solar. That way they can save energy. So that's a policy we're trying to do right now. But because of COVID and all of this, we haven't been able to meet since February. So that's been on a halt. So yeah, I'm the founding president of ESW UTEP, the student chapter. I was also the ESWcon conference coordinator. We did back in 2019, April 2019. And I'm also now a part of the ESW board of directors since 2020. I'm been recently appointed, and I'm very excited to continue working and continue furthering the vision and the mission of ESW. So that's kind of like my professional background, but I also would like to share a little bit about me, right? We're not only our professional achievements, right? We are human beings. So my favorite color is blue. Christmas is my favorite holiday. I'm the type of guy that plays Christmas music since August, September-ish. I'm a dog person. I'm not a huge cat fan. I know Alyssa will hate me for this. Just kidding. No, never mind. That's Sophie. 10 years ago, I set myself the goal to visit all continents except Antarctica, because that's too expensive and I'm not a huge fan of cold, before turning 25. And I'm very happy to say that I did it. I achieved my goal finally, and it was so I was so happy to do it. My favorite show is Parks and Rec. Alyssa actually introduced me to that show. Alyssa, she's part of ESW headquarters, and she introduced me to that show, and I've watched it probably 6 times now completely, and I loved it. I'm obsessed with it. My favorite movie is Peter Pan, and my favorite book is Frankenstein. So yeah, that's a little bit about me personally. So this is what I'm going to be talking today. So I'm going to talk about how I got my job. I'm going to be talking about the importance of networking. I'll talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. I think that's a very important topic to talk, especially when we're early in our careers. I will talk about my personal advice as me, Miguel Fraga, and sustainability certifications, because that's related to my advice, and some Q&A sections. So everyone who's right here, please feel free to interrupt me or send a question on the chat. If you have a question about anything during the presentation, feel free. I'm open. I'm not strict. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to yell at you. But yeah, feel free to do anything like that. So first things first, how I got my job. I'm a sustainability specialist, like I said, at Creative Collaborative. So mainly what I do is I ensure that all of the projects that we got, or some of the projects that we have, meet social, economic, and environmental sustainability guidelines, that we know we're for sure tapping all of those situations. Right now, I'm the project manager for a project that was granted. It's a grant that was given to the city of El Paso, and then we are helping manage it in collaboration with other organizations. But it was granted by the National Recreation and Park Association, the NRPA. And what we're mainly doing with this is that we are installing bioswales, which is a passive rainwater harvesting system in city parks, so we can decrease One of the main reasons is to decrease the expense of irrigation and public infrastructure, as well as beautifying the parks so we can increase active living and healthy lifestyles in residents. So we were designing 2 bioswales right next to one of the trails that we have here in El Paso called the Paso del Norte Trail. And also, you may be wondering, why is there Miguel with an owl in his hand in that picture? Part of that grant is that we're also doing wildlife habitats. So we designed and we built from scratch burrowing owl habitats, so which is a very characteristic wildlife from the Southwest. El Paso's in the Southwest region, so burrowing owls are mainly in the desert region. So that's hence their name, burrowing. They burrow holes and they live there and all that. So we designed those houses and we were so freaking happy because it's very different designing and talking and making all of that to actually be in the field and touch one of those animals. So right now what we're doing there is with the Texas Parks and Wildlife, we were banding the owls because all the wildlife, especially the birds, you need to band them so you can identify them and have more of a control of how many owls in this case are in the region. Sadly, most of the fledglings, like this one, is a 3 to 4 week old fledgling, will not make it because of natural predators. But here it is, holding it, mind my face, mind my hair. It was around midnight, and we were finally catching those owls. I mean, we're not following them either. There's traps. So that's a project that I'm working on right now. We have a lot of other projects. Well, not a lot. I mean, we have some other big projects that we're working mostly on policy, funding. So all of the sustainability aspects as well when it comes to economic projects. So how I got my job, it's long story short, it's thanks to ESW, indirectly because of ESW. So as Vic and I mentioned, I was a conference coordinator for ESWcon that we had. And organizing a conference is not as easy as you may think. I thought it was simply like, oh yeah, just make room reservations, make a big place, and make sure people are fed, sorry. And it's not that easy. I mean, it's thinking about menus, thinking about dietary restrictions, thinking about logistics. It's so complicated with speakers. So one of the main challenges that we had was getting speakers to talk about the keynote speakers or the breakout speakers, which are like those 1 hour talks related to sustainability. So I was working with one of my teammates on that, and we were not getting a good response. We were not getting a good response. I was getting desperate. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And then I saw that the local chapter for USGBC, the United States Green Building Council, was holding like a green drinks event where it's like in a bar and then you talk about sustainability and green topics. And I thought you might as well go and ask people, like, do you want to be a speaker at a sustainability conference? It's going to be at UTEP. And so I went with a friend. He was an officer. Well, not an officer. He was had a leadership position in ESW. And we went, and that's where I met Lauren, one of my current boss. I met her, and she used to be the sustainability coordinator at the city of El Paso. And then we were talking and, just talking about life and work and sustainability. And then we were just talking, and I just invited her, right? I was still a student there. So my only idea was to invite her to be a speaker at the conference. So that's how I met her. And that's my first interaction. I work with other people, and I invited other people and like that. After that, there was another networking event like that I went, and I saw her again. By that time, I was also looking for speakers, but not as desperately because I had more people. We had more people now. But now we were more personal, like we talked a little bit more. And then I was actually looking for a job at that time. I was near my graduation. It was around March. I was applying for full-time jobs and I couldn't find one. I was just so desperate that I was not finding jobs. And I remember a lot that I applied for like a financial advisor position in Austin at that time. Because of my MBA, I had that knowledge, but I wasn't very excited, but I mean, I needed a job, right? And I told her that hey, you know what? Yeah, I've been applying for jobs, and I'm even applied for a financial advisor one in Austin, but yeah. And then she told me, you know what? Let me refer you to the current sustainability coordinator at the city of El Paso, and probably has something for you. I'm like, okay, sure. And then the next day, she sends an email, and she refers me to him. He's very nice. And then he replied back and said like, yeah, let's schedule a call. And then I called, and it was like 1 hour, 2 hour phone call, and I was so excited, like, oh my god, I didn't know the Paso is doing all of these and all of these sustainability things. I was so excited. I was so freaking excited. So after the call was done, I said, thank you, Lauren. I just had the meeting with Fernando. Everything went well. Fernando, please see my resume attached. So that's when I sent him my resume, and she was also attached to the email. She was CC'd on the email. And then once I sent it, but Fernando told me that, you know what, I don't know. I need to double check if there's an open position. Right now, we're not hiring. So I said, okay, might as well just send my resume, right? An hour-ish later, after I send my resume, Lauren emails me back and says, hey, Miguel, I just saw your resume. Would you be interested in having an internship at my company, Creative Collaborative? And just like that, I got an internship. I was working part-time at UTEP as a research assistant. So I said, yeah, I mean, working as a sustainability consulting firm, for sure, sign me up. And that's how I started. I started my internship. I was working at UTEP and at Creative part-time. And I ended up staying there after graduation. They offered me a full-time position, and I've been with them since then. So all of that thanks to ESW, and mainly because of networking, because that's the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about, how important it is networking to get a job in sustainability, mainly because there's a lot of misinformation about sustainability, or so many companies that are not hiding, but like not explicitly saying that their jobs are sustainability related. Some of the jobs are not there. Like I remember I applied to a lot of jobs. Some of you can relate. They're probably doing it or have done it. Countless resumes, countless cover letters, and no one's replying. A couple of interviews, but no callbacks or just rejections. So some of these jobs are not even posted online. That's how it's so important networking. I mean, I knew about Creosote because of a sustainability conference that I attended in El Paso. They were sponsors, but their website never said anything about we're hiring, or I couldn't find a sustainability specialist position in El Paso. It was mainly because of networking. So the main reasons that are very important to network, first of all, is to help others. The moment that we stop thinking about networking as a selfish thing that you will only get something out of it, that's the moment that you will start making networking correctly. You always have to have that in mind, that networking is to help others, and probably help others help you, right? But it's always about helping, not about demanding or just asking. So like if someone comes to me, like usually people come to me like, any jobs right now? Like, I don't know, let me refer to you. Or I know this nonprofit is hiring. I know that this nonprofit just got this big project. I will ask them. Like you can help others, and then while helping others, for sure those will return the favor in the future, or you will start growing your network. And that way you can partner with them in future projects and make your team more stronger. Like there's infinite ways for you to grow as a person when you network with the idea of helping others. Also, it's very important to network because of the connections and references. Like if you are applying to another job, or if you're a student applying to jobs, networking at conferences, networking with your professors, you'd be surprised how many students don't even talk to the professors. I mean, most of my references when I was a student applying to jobs came from my professors. And those are crucial. I mean, those are the ones that know you, and you need to know them personally. I remember this horror story of a person that told me that this student applied for this job and didn't get it because the letter that was sent had the wrong name. Like it was basically a template that professor used. So make sure to know the professors, make sure to know personally, or have a very personal relation with your professor. Like they know who you are, they know how you work, or even your current coworkers, like just don't treat them like normal coworkers, like talk to them, like interact with them in a very meaningful way, not just what's required. Try to take it a little bit extra than that. And of course, the obvious, right? Job opportunities. Most of these jobs are only reference only. Some of the jobs are like, hey, I mean, we're hiring right now, or we're considering hiring right now in my department. We haven't even posted it. Yeah, let's post it, and I'll put you as a reference. A lot of jobs, and you've seen if you're applying to jobs that will ask you like, do you have any reference in the current position? Do you have any reference in the company? Because they want to know like if someone who actually works there will recommend you, that's increasing your chances. It will help you advance your career. I've been learning a lot about sustainability just being here. I mean, we might think that we know a lot, but we really don't. Talking to these individuals made you realize like, wow, there's actually that many certifications. There's actually that program. Wow, I didn't knew that nonprofit existed. Wow, I mean, you just learn a lot from people and makes you grow as a person. Also, it helps you with your credibility as a person. You'd be surprised on how important is network and how good of a memory people have. The other day, I remember it has happened to me like 2 times in this year. Like, it's weird because people you met once in your life or you vaguely remember meeting, they really remember you. Like the other day, I had this meeting with a professor that I honestly didn't. I had a horrible memory, and I didn't remember him because I knew he was new at the university where he is. And we're talking about a project that we're working in my company, and then before we talk, I said like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you," blah 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 blah. And then he told me, "We've met before. I know you. You're Miguel Fraga, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm sorry, but where do you know me from, or where did we meet? And he said like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. You are the sustainability organization guy from UTEP, right?" So he knew me because of that, and I'm like, wow. I mean, wow, I didn't know that. And then I had another meeting with an engineer of another company, and then I was just delivering some papers. I didn't work there or anything. And then he said, "What's your name again?" I'm like, "Miguel Fraga." And he said like, "That sounds so familiar. Who are you?" And that's when I started talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, now I know where you're from." So it starts adding credibility. You start making a name of your own. People start noticing you. So that's very important networking, getting the word out that you're there, that you exist, that you're professional, that all of your accomplishments have been noticed by people. And also builds confidence. Like I hated public speaking. I was one of those people who, if it's in a room filled of people that you don't know, like I would just not do anything or sit in the back, because sometimes I'm very extrovert, sometimes I'm very introvert. So when you network, sometimes you will always know someone in that room, and then when you go to that someone will introduce you to someone, and that's how you start growing. You build your confidence that even if you don't ask someone if it's gonna be there, and you go, you will find someone you know or someone who knows you. So that's why it's very important, the networking as well. Also, I want to talk about the imposter syndrome. That's a very sensitive project sometimes, sensitive topic sometimes. I've been a victim of it, or I've dealt with it for it. But I want to talk a little bit about it because I think it's very important to acknowledge it, that it exists. So first of all, what it is, right? It's a psychological pattern in which one doubts your accomplishments. So if there's a chat, I cannot see it. It's basically
Read
doubting
it off for you.
Okay. Yeah, can you read it?
Sorry. Yeah, Caleb said, not sustainability related. Milwaukee Tool is hiring. Great starter company for new engineers. See, we're already networking. We're already putting your tips into practice, Miguel. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly. But yeah, like I was saying, the imposter syndrome, it's basically when you doubt yourself. And I know a lot of us have done it. I've done it. I usually do it sometimes. I mean, I would be a hypocrite to tell you that, oh yeah, I'm over it. Like, no, I mean, sometimes when you're in a room full of people who have like 20, 40 years of experience, course you don't feel like super nice about yourself, right? Even though you know what you're doing. So um, don't get unmotivated. Like it's kind of like when you're sad and people tell you don't be sad. Like, okay, I didn't think about it. No, but for the imposter syndrome, it's just learn to validate constructive criticism. And just to give you some examples of how I don't want to say victim. I don't want to victimize myself, but how I experienced imposter syndrome and has helped not helped me, but worsened it in my case, is because I've had people close to me or people that I consider friends or other professionals have told me things that really made me doubt myself. I remember people have told me that you should consider dropping out of engineering. You're more of a business person. People tell me you don't know shit. People telling me that I'm not a real engineer. People telling me that that yeah, things like that. That I don't want to get too descriptive, right? But comments like that, it's what's really bring you down sometimes, right? Sometimes they told me like, oh, you're so smart to be on the field. Like, I mean, who are you to tell me what to do or where to be, right? Just, and you doubt yourself. Like sometimes when you're people and sometimes they don't even tell you anything and you doubt yourself. And, and sometimes I'm like, "Ah, you know what? No, 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 no. I mean, I know what I've done. I'm not gonna be like super ego, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I've done this. Like you always have to be humble about yourself and your accomplishments, right? But never minimize your accomplishments. Like you did what you did and be proud of it. Like I remember sometimes when people make me feel like that I was not an engineer, tell me that my engineering degree is not an engineering degree because I don't have an EIT, which is the engineering and training, or make me think that because I did an MBA, I'm not a full engineer because so there's those comments, and then I started thinking to myself, like, I mean, this picture, it's me in Puerto Rico, the summer of 2018, building a pedestrian bridge. Like I led a group of 50 students from New Mexico State University and UTEP to reconstruct a bridge from scratch. Well, not from scratch. We used some of the materials of the old bridge that was destroyed by Hurricane Maria. So we built a bridge. And I'm like, people, why do I doubt myself if I was basically literally working Monday through Sunday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Puerto Rico, building a bridge from scratch? Like, and then later, earlier in that year, we went this was with ESW UTEP. And earlier that year, we went to Philippines to distribute filtration systems to people who were relocated from tropical storm Sandong in 2011. So we just delivered 100 systems of hollow filtration systems that are gravity, do not need electricity or anything for them to have access to clean water. That's environmental engineering. That was part of my thesis. I mean, talking about water quality. And here I am doubting myself if I'm a true engineer, if I deserve to be where I am, if I deserve to be sitting in this place. Like when I joined the City of Paso board, I was with this amazing group. I mean, they're amazing. They're so knowledgeable. And sometimes when you work in with this type of people, they have they're so knowledgeable and they're sometimes aggressive because they want to really accomplish what it's being done in the group. Like when I joined the renewable energy, I noticed, and they were telling me that since 2017 they were trying to make different policies. So of course they were very aggressive. They're not like super slow, like, hey Miguel, welcome, this is a introduction. Like, no, hey, you're thrown into the world, start doing. Like, so, and then they nominated me to be vice chair, and I'm in my head like, oh my god, I don't know nothing. How am I going to be a vice chair of this if I know nothing? So that's how bad it is, the imposter syndrome, that we start doubting yourself. Like sometimes, most of the times, well, in my case, I can only talk about myself. The biggest obstacle that I have is me. I mean, it's me that no, I don't receive a lot of negative comments often, but we always do that, right? We receive 100 positive comments, but we receive one negative comment, and that's the one that we focus on. So don't do that. Believe in yourself. Understand that you're actually slowing down your team when you don't ask for help. Sometimes we have a lot of pride in ourselves, saying that, oh, I should know this, or I've done that, right? I should know this. Let me download this 100-page book and read it in 2 hours before this meeting. Like, no, I mean, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I know it, but I'm not so confident right now. Can you help me? Like, that's teamwork. That's what you're supposed to do. And remember that the more you practice a skill, the better you will be at it. Like, no one is born knowing thermodynamics. No one is born knowing how to design boring owl habitats. No one is born doing that. So the more you do, the more you're involved. It's like, just keep trying, just keep swimming, like Dory would say. But yeah, just my 2 cents on imposter syndrome, mostly because of my experience on that. I know there's two chat. I'm sorry, but I cannot see the message. I know there's notifications. So, Vicky, are there questions
Oh,
or
that's
just?
cool. Caleb was just letting us know how to contact him if they're interested in any positions in Milwaukee tools.
Okay, cool. So just moving forward a little bit with my advice, my personal advice. First of all, use LinkedIn. Really, LinkedIn is an amazing tool, not only to apply or look for jobs, but actually to get the word out. Especially right now that there's no, as far as I know, they're limiting, of course, the networking sessions or the network conferences because of all the social distancing. So LinkedIn is a very good tool to use to get the word out. Like I've seen friends start blog and talk about their topics, talk about their journey. I saw someone who just posted, who consistently posts about what is it to be a woman in STEM, like things like that. I mean, just post, write about something, share things that you like. I mean, LinkedIn is about engagement, and that's when you start getting your word out. Use it, really use it. And one of the advice that I've seen and I'm trying to use, not to get that job, but to actually learn more about those positions, is to connect with individuals who have job titles that you'd like. Like I in my mind, in the future, I would like to be in a company, either in this one or another one, whoever, and be a chief sustainability officer, or have a strong, higher upper management sustainability position. And that's what I like to be, right? And so we should start asking people, like, hey, what did you do to be there? I mean, how sometimes people have been there in the companies for 30 years, like, hey, how did you grew there? How's everything going right now? And sometimes people, and I saw this from a post in LinkedIn, actually, someone did this. And that person asked that person to send a message, like, okay, can you go to the bottom of this? What do you want? And it's like, no, I legitimately want to learn from you. I want to know your experience. I want to be where you are right now. So trying to do that. I mean, I have in my network, I have the sustainability, the person in charge of sustainability and communications from Coca-Cola. I'm not like friends, right? But I mean, I see what she does. I see what she posts. I see, especially right now, I don't know if you noticed, Greenpeace has like a campaign against Coca-Cola because of the single-use plastics. Like trying to be always updated on the news on that. Like, how is she going to respond? I mean, how is Coca-Cola going to respond for that? I know Coca-Cola Mexico is responding to be carbon neutral by 2030 or 2025 because they even launched an ad for that. But I don't know Coca-Cola corporate in general, Coca-Cola USA. So try to engage, follow people. I follow Indra Nui before she left her position at PepsiCo. She used to be the CEO. She no longer is. So PepsiCo has a lot of sustainability efforts. They have a sustainability report where they talk about how they get the water and how they're managing to help the people access to more natural resources. Another advice is that when you're looking for jobs in the sustainability field, don't look for the word sustainability. We all know that sustainability is very broad, very, very broad. So if you look for sustainability, sometimes a company is looking for sustainability, but they don't know they're looking for sustainability. What I mean by that, like probably they're looking for an energy efficiency coordinator. Probably they're looking for a water research coordinator, which is related to sustainability. What if they're looking for a social justice program manager to talk about a nonprofit? That's sustainability. That's social sustainability. Be informed about what sustainability is and where this is all going. Right now, there's a lot of conversation about social inequality and racism and all of this. Like, don't be surprised if some nonprofits get a grant to further this research and they open positions like this. Social justice, social equality and inequalities. It's part of sustainability. That's social sustainability, making sure that people really want what we're proposing them. Like things like that. Don't only assume that sustainability it's only the title will be sustainability specialist, sustainability coordinator. Like it's more than that, and you need to make your own research, and that's when you make your case on how you're gonna help the company further their sustainability efforts. Also, one of the things that I've learned and would like to advise you, that's something that I would have done differently, is that to apply to diverse internships if you're still a student. Because I don't regret it, I loved it, but the vast majority of my internships were research focused. That's one of my biggest achievements. I'm so proud of my thesis. But right now, working in consulting, it's a completely different world. Completely different world. It's not that it's best or worse. It's different. When you do research, sometimes things are slow. I remember I was doing tests that would take 12 hours to complete the test. So it would be 12 hours at the lab. So just like slow waiting, playing with some data, or just doing something else, reading a paper that it's slow, right? It's not super stressful. Not stressful, but like fast paced. In consulting, sometimes the client, because when you're in consulting, a client pays you for your time. Like you're consulting him on an expertise that you have and they don't. So when you have 5 clients, all of them will think and want them to be your top priority. So if one calls you and says like, hey, I need this in 2 hours, I need this by the end of today, I need this by tomorrow. So you need to do it. I mean, because they're paying you for it and you're billing hours. So I never got that experience while I was in college. So right now with like a bucket of cold water, like, you know what, I really need to be faster on what I do. I mean, learn faster, and while being faster, have the same quality of work, right? You don't want to like just type it and send them. You need to send quality of work because they're consulting you for that expertise. So that's something I would advise you, right? Try consulting, private industry, government, and even nonprofits. I was so ignorant about nonprofits. Like I know ESW is a nonprofit, I knew that, but I didn't know that were so common in the cities. Now that I'm working consulting and we have to partner with a lot of nonprofits, I'm like, wow, I mean, there's so many nonprofits here. And it's but it's not a huge city of El Paso. But Austin, Dallas, New York, Los Angeles, I mean, they have a lot of nonprofits that get a lot of grants, a lot of federal, state, local funding, and they often hire for interns. I've seen that. So that's another option that for you to do, like research consulting, private, government, nonprofit. The opportunities are endless on that. And my last piece of advice is get certifications. I think I can say that's one of my regrets, not getting certified while I was still in college. Because right now it's not that I don't have time, but it's like it's so easy to get used to not being in school. It's so comfortable to think like, oh, I don't have to study for this quiz, I don't have to study for this exam. So it's fairly simple to uh, get used to that. So yeah, get certification. I'll talk a little bit more about certification later. Some of the quotes that I want to share with you that have helped me learn about myself and learn more about how to keep track and be more confident with myself are these ones. If you don't have a plan, you're part of someone else's plan. And that struck me so bad. It's like sometimes we're just working and we don't have a plan, a future. So yeah, I mean, I can't further explain this quote. Like, I don't want to be part of someone else's plan. Like, I want to have my own plan. So it's better we all have plans. Like, it's not about using people, but like strategically doing what you want to do. So that I constantly think of that. And the other one is that it's not what you know, nor who you know, but who knows you. Like, it's very important that your name is out there. It's very important that people know what you've done, what you can do to help them, how you can improve the company, how can you help someone else, like not only professional, but hey, how can you, I know this person that helped me do this, I know Miguel that did this. Same thing with you guys. Like, it's networking, it's in a nutshell, it's all about networking. So I mentioned about sustainability certifications, and these are the ones. It's a very small list that I compiled that I knew that I know might be helpful to some of you. The number one that I regret not doing when I was a student, it's the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, the LEED certification. That's one that's becoming very popular right now in the engineering field, mainly because there's several categories for them. Like if you get certified for this, you can get, the first level is the Green Associate, like GA. That's like the basic one. I would recommend you guys do the AP, which is the Accredited Professional. And there's sort of different categories. There's like building, design, and construction. What is the other one? Homes, neighborhood development, interior design. There's a one like maintenance. I think there's one about maintenance. Those, you get points for those in some engineering projects when you're designing a building or when you're starting from scratch one of the buildings, and that's very beneficial. And the main reason I regret it is because, of course, all of the certification costs money, right? Nothing's free. But when you're a student, this one, the LEED one, it's cheaper to take the exam as a student. Right now, I cannot take advantage of that discount because I'm no longer a student. I believe it's $150 exam for students. So I would highly encourage you to take that if you're a student. If not, I'm going to be doing the LEED exam for building, design, and construction, but I'm going to be doing first my environmental engineering EIT, which is an engineering training. So I'm trying to like have a plan that way I'm not studying at the same time for both. I'm not saying one's easier than the other one, right? But because of my job, it's easier for me to start with the EIT and then for the building, design, and construction. Then another one is the Congress for New Urbanism Accredited Professional. It's basically about urban planning and how to make complete streets, basically like having more tree canopy, the benefits of having more sustainable features when you design streets or a whole location. I know that for that you have to pay for the exam. One of my supervisors has it, and he said it's fairly simple. But I know for this one you need to take a course for one university to help you with that. The other one is the Green Roof Professional. I know that's a very popular trend that we see in buildings have green roofs, especially in areas that's very humid. Like it's not very popular here in El Paso because it's desert. So if we do a green roof, it would have to be with desert adaptive plants and plants that don't really need a lot of water. Register accessibility specialist. I've seen this one pop up so much in all the projects that I've been working on, and that's related to, I would say, to social sustainability. What this individual does is it ensures that a project complies with the ADA regulations when you're designing engineering projects. The ramps are correct, the location of it is correct, the inclination is correct, all of that, all of those ADA things. So that's a very cool one. Could be very useful. And the life cycle assessment certified professional, if you would like to be involved in sustainability in the sense of product development or product design, having an idea of life cycle assessment and having a certification would be very, very helpful. That way you can talk about the cradle to cradle or crate to grade, cradle to cradle design, but the product. So those are the ones that are that I recommend, that I've seen. I know there's a lot I haven't seen. I think it would be a good idea if we start, as ESW, start sharing a little bit more about what accreditations could help sustainability professionals further their career. So those are the ones that I recommend. LEED for sure if you're in the engineering degree. The other ones, up to you what you want to do. I mean, that's what I like about sustainability. The options are endless. I mean, you can do so many things. Probably there are social justice accreditations that I don't know. So it all depends on what you want to do. And that's all I have. I wanted to do more of a Q&A as well, more talk, answer specific questions. I know I'm not like super knowledgeable person, but if I can help some way, any clarifying questions, feel free. Okay, any questions?
Well, Miguel, I just want to say thank you. You threw those quotes up there, and I wrote down some of yours that I think are pretty great, and you might see on our social media coming up. So, thanks for this. This has been great.
Thank you. Yeah, Science AP Sustainable Entrepreneurship. Yeah, I've seen that one as well. I haven't seen Envision. I'll need to look for that. But yeah, thank you, Vicky. If there's any other questions, feel free to let me know. Hope I helped in some way. I hope I met your expectations of this presentation. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate
Totally exceeded.
it.
Totally exceeded expectations. Thank you so much, Miguel.
You're welcome. If anyone has would like to connect, I didn't put it here, but you can find me on LinkedIn. Just look Miguel Fraga, or I think, yeah, look for me on LinkedIn. I'll share. I'll share that right now. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can share. Connect with me. Share with me whatever you find. I mean, let's do networking. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is someone says no. I'm not gonna say no. Well, probably I'll say no if you ask me if we are hiring. We're not hiring right now. Sorry, but but yeah, I mean, connect with people. I know, not to put people on the spot, right? But Elisa Rivera is an amazing individual that I know. She used to be with me at UTEP. He has worked for NASA. I mean, I don't know a lot of people who has worked at NASA, and she's a very, very crucial person that she talked to the sustainability person who was in charge and the NASA location she was at. So we reach out to her. She's an HQ at ESW. Reach out to her as well. Not to put you in the spot, Elisa, but she's amazing. Yeah, she just to connect with me. Yeah, she's so friendly. She's nice. But yeah, I mean, Alyssa, I don't know. I mean, all the people that I know is like, they're so amazing. I mean, this sustainability world and this network that it's the ESW one, it's amazing. I just love it. There's, yeah, I'm so happy. One small piece of advice: be very skeptical of corporate sustainability claims. Check their core products before any ancillary sustainability initiatives, if those anti-sustainability. Yeah, sometimes companies just try to be sustainability because of the PR opportunities. So we have to dig a little bit further about that. And another piece of advice, I'm sorry, I'm just wondering, if there's no opportunity, make your own opportunity. Like, I remember, like, what was stopping me from making a chapter at UTEP? Like, there was no ESW chapter at UTEP, so what we did, we make one. We didn't have projects. What did we do? We just made up our own. We had 5 projects that we fundraised. We connected with professors. When we ended up going to Puerto Rico, we ended up going to Philippines. So it's like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make up your own stuff. Not make it like invent it, right? But I mean, make your own path. Like, if right now you're in a position in your company that's not really related to sustainability, I mean, talk to your supervisor, talk to your upper management, like, hey, I want to be more involved in sustainability. We don't have that. Ask them, like, what if we do? Can I lead that effort in the company? Can I be, like, even if it starts with voluntary opportunities, like, hey, I mean, I want to have a sustainability committee at the company, at the firm. We would like to talk about small steps, like go paperless in our company. Like, that's how you start making your path in your own company or in someone else's. Just make your own path and make your own opportunities, but there are none of them for you. But thank you, Sylvia, for this. You're so right.
Awesome. Okay. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock Eastern here. But Miguel, this cannot be the last time that you share your wisdom, because we might even need to break it down into episodes and segments.
Aye, aye.
But anyway, just on behalf of ESWHQ, thank you everybody for joining. We really appreciate it. And let us know what you thought. Reach out to us, let us know on our social media channels, send us an email. If you want more chats with Miguel, let us know. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks. Have a good night, everyone.